Hey folks, this is Riker with a beginner overview video for Torchlight Infinite and its newest season, City of Aeterna. And we're going to thank Torchlight Infinite for sponsoring this video. So Torchlight Infinite's newest season, City of Aeterna, just released on September 7th. It introduces a new season mechanic, a new hero trait, a new random map called Labyrinth, a redesigned crafting experience, 3.5 times better legendary drop rates, and more. Now's a great time to jump into and try out the game. I come back at the start of every season, I always have a blast leveling up a character. The core gameplay is just so fun, the loot is satisfying, the end game has a solid foundation of progression. I've also been getting more and more into the crafting game, the trade game, and it's just been great to see how the game has evolved over the past year as the devs have listened to and implemented community feedback. So let's say you're going to be trying out the game now for the first time. Let's give a beginner rundown of things. First off, what class do you pick? So first off, in Torchlight Infinite, they're called heroes rather than classes. And there are also different hero traits. So every hero releases with a base hero trait, but over time, the devs not only add new heroes, they also add new traits for existing heroes. And a trait, you can sort of look at it like a subclass, but it's something that can be very transformative to the core hero. Sometimes it can make it feel like an entirely different hero. Now, maxroll.gg has a whole lot of guides for Torchlight Infinite. They also have a tier list for this given season for the ranking of the hero traits. Now, if you're playing this in a future season, the ranking might change, but as of right now, the newest hero, Iris, who you're seeing me play in the gameplay footage, is absolutely bonkers S tier, super powerful. This is a pure summoner class. Before that, we did have a summoner class, Moto, but when I would play Moto, I was still doing some things myself. My minions were doing the damage, but I was still actively doing quite a few things. It feels like Iris is a much purer summoner class for those who really want like their minions to be doing everything. You do find yourself like popping buffs to get your minions to continue to be powerful, but I was just blown away at how strong Iris is. Again, I've played at the start of every season, so I've done that leveling process every time, and holy crap, Iris is insanely powerful. I'm just blitzing through the early game. Then in A tier, we have Gemma on her default Ice Fire Fusion trait. Really strong character. It's basically an Ice and Fire Mage playstyle. Now, new to this season, we also have her Flame of Pleasure trait. That one is also A tier. This is just a pure fire-focused mage. Then Yoga's another great hero on his default trait. He's a spellcaster that summons an illusory duplicate of himself that casts your spells. Then in B tier, we have Commander Moto. I was just talking about him before. He is another summoner hero. Always has been a solid beginner option. Order Calling is his default trait, and again, very simple, especially early game gameplay. At the end game, his build maybe tapers off a bit, but really strong and simple to get through the first like 60, 70, even 80 levels. Then you have Rayhan. He's like a barbarian, spin to win, whirlwind kind of build. Always a fan favorite. Anger is his default trait. Can be very strong late game build, maybe a little harder early game to, or I don't know about harder, a little less beginner friendly, let's say. Then Erica, the cat girl, possibly my favorite hero still. She can be fragile at first, but her gameplay is just so blitzingly fast. I love it. Then Carino is for ranged players. His lethal flash trait, it's all about shotgunning enemies with multiple projectiles. Then down in C tier, we have Thea. This is a hero that focuses on stacking multiple buffs. You can be either an attack build or a spellcaster build. Not super beginner friendly in my opinion. And then down in D tier, we have Bing. I haven't played him at all, so not super familiar with him, but I hear he is underperforming relative to the other heroes, so hopefully next season he gets a buff. His playstyle is super cool though. He loads bombs into projectiles and then launches them around himself in an explosive nova. It's a really cool effect. Then, once you've selected your character, if you want to, you can follow a max roll leveling guide on what skills and everything to take as you're leveling up. But regardless, let's just give an overview of the skill system to begin with here. As you level up, you'll gain access to more skills. You can assign them to right mouse button, Q, W, E, and R. You can change the skills that you have. You unlock additional options as you level up, but the structure, you have your base skill, and then you can apply support skills. At the start, it's going to be just 1, but you're going to unlock the ability to apply up to 5 eventually. Support skills, ways to change and modify how the skill works. It's a nice amount of depth to this system, but it opens up over time, and it is very accessible. So there's a lot of echoes of other games in this, but it's handled in a much more accessible way. And for every skill, you have these different kinds of support skills that you can add. And you'll notice that I don't have 5 support skills on every skill, and that has to do with the game's energy system. So as you level up, you get more energy, and eventually higher level gear has more energy on it, and you need energy to apply and unlock additional support skills. So it's up to you how you want to allocate this energy. You always want to full buff your main attack skill, but as for your secondary skills, your other skills, you're going to be deciding where to allocate your energy, especially as you're leveling up. So apart from your main skills, you also can have up to 3 support skills equipped. These tend to be auras, and they can also have their own support skills applied to them. Again, there's just so much ability to customize and build your character with these different skills, passive skills, and support skills. And then in addition to your skills, you also have your talent trees. So you get a number of different talent trees to select from. These are just sort of like passive trees, right? So I picked God of Machines here. This is now I've swapped back to my Iris character. So she's a summoner. God of Machines is a really good talent tree for minion builds. So you start allocating your points, plus minion damage. You're building along the tree. Once you've put 10 points into a tree, you can select one of 3 I don't know, talents or whatever these things are called. You select another one at 20 points, and then generally once you hit 20 points, you want to build into a second tree. So I've got Alchemist here that I'm now starting to work my way through. At level 45, you unlock an additional one, etc. So again, tons of ways to customize your character. All right, let's talk a bit about the season mechanic, the City of Aeterna. You're sometimes going to run into this, a Monument of Aeterna. You interact with it, and that's going to bring up the Aeterna map. So, new mark of the ruins obtained. We get these puzzle pieces, these tiles. By default, these puzzle pieces... Okay, I'm going to try to be careful with my choice of language. We're going to call these a puzzle piece, and within this puzzle piece, by default, there are 6 tiles. That's by default. Sometimes you can get 4 tiles, but more on that in a bit. So, default, 6 tiles per puzzle piece. This puzzle piece is going to be assembled on a board. You have this game board. At the start, you can only put 4 puzzle pieces down on this game board. You unlock the ability to get more. Eventually, you get a 3x3 grid, but to start with, it's just a 2x2. Now, where do you put these? Well, you can see some things are faded out in the background. You are assembling a map. And you want, ideally, to grab these rewards. So here, I've grabbed this legendary reward. With this puzzle piece, if I put this here, I'm going to have the boss tile, but I'm going to be missing this reward up here. However, if I put this here, I'm going to grab these 2 rewards. Now, I could gamble and hope that my next tile will have this reward, will have this piece here. So there's a couple things at play. One is you want to be able to connect a path throughout these tiles, because you're going to spawn in here. Now, in my case, regardless of whether I put this here or here, I will have a path. But in theory, you could potentially assemble things in a way that you're not going to have access. You wouldn't want that, but you got to be careful about building a path and also about grabbing these extra reward tiles. So I think I'm going to risk it for the biscuit, and I'm going to put this here to grab these 2, and I'm going to hope that my next one will be able to grab those 2. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to put this here, we're going to confirm that, and now we can see, I'm going to have 2 more puzzle pieces to put. So these 2 rewards are here. That's going to be tough to grab, but I especially want that boss tile. So we'll see next time. I think if I continue here, right. So now you can see, you either get a random 6 tile puzzle piece, or eventually you unlock the ability to get a random 4 tile puzzle piece. Why would you want to go for a 4 tile? It makes it a lot harder to connect things, less opportunity to actually grab the things. Well, because if you use one of these, it doubles the rewards. We'll explain how to unlock these in a little bit here. We're going to go ahead and confirm. And what is our next puzzle piece? Ooh, that's bad. Okay. I will be able to get the boss piece, but I'm not going to be able to grab that corner. Okay. Alright. Well, we're going to get the boss piece, so that's okay. So now you run the next tile here. We're going to go through this quickly. So there's these different candles. You interact with them and you get a challenge. So this challenge here is stand in this circle until it opens up like that. This is one of the easier ones. Of course, if at higher level the challenge, the monster difficulty will be higher. Again, it's stand in this circle. Sometimes it's a spinning laser. That's the hardest one. It deals a lot of damage. But there's different challenge depending on the candles, depending on the map even. So we're getting that full thing. We get extra time to complete the challenge. We go here, and then there's going to be the boss at the very end. Alrighty, onward to the boss. So we light all the candles, complete the challenge, do the boss, and then we are done. Lots of great loot drops. So typically in a lot of other games, I will tend to ignore the seasonal mechanic until higher level. Like when, it's always cool to check it out, observe it, but then I rapidly reach a point where it's like, okay, this doesn't feel worth doing until higher level. At least for now with City of Aeterna, I feel like it is worth doing. The rewards are really good, right? Those are really good drops. And you're also progressing something that we'll explain in a little bit. But you're always building up something as you are continuing to go through these. So there's a layer of meta progression. Alright, we've reached another monument now. We're going to interact. Where are we going to put this puzzle piece? So again, if I put it here, I'm going to get this one. If I put it here, I'm going to get the boss. So we're going to want to go for the boss. Definitely don't want to miss that. So we're going to put this here. Confirm. We'll run the map. We're going to see what the next piece we're going to get is. I'm hoping I'm going to get a solid bar on the right. Oof, that's bad. Okay, well, I can get one of the two. So as of right now with the placement, we're missing 2 of the potential things. We're going to skip the video ahead now to when we have the final puzzle installed in order to run the final city. Alright, we've reached another monument now. Interact to place our final puzzle piece. Can only go in one position here. Now you'll see we're missing 2 things. The purple one is better. We get one final tile to allocate somewhere. I'm going to allocate it here. Now, you could do things to get more than just one. I think you can get up to 3 of these. If I had 3, I would be able to... Well, see, 2 wouldn't even be enough, because if I put a tile here, it's not connected. So I'd have to put 1 here and then a connecting tile since you cannot go diagonally. But we're going to put this here. Get that rare room. Place that there. Confirm. And now we're going to enter the City of Aeterna. This is the final run where everything comes together. So notice here there's a boss progression bar and there's a key progression bar. So as you kill monsters, you're going to fill key progression bar and you're going to use that to activate candles that we'll run into here in a little moment. Again, my build is just crazy strong right now. Also, the monster level is 35, I'm level 40, so I'm a little over leveled for this content, which is part of why I'm just obliterating things. As you get deeper into the game, of course, the challenge rises significantly, but here we go. So, these candles located around the map have different potential rewards. Some will be better than others, but they correspond to the things that were on that previous map layout. So again, we're missing one of them. One of those rewards you won't be able to get because we couldn't fit it into our layout. But thankfully it is one of the weaker rewards, so I don't feel too bad about missing it. But imagine missing the boss, that would have been awful. Which is why you gotta be sort of tactical in how you piece together your map layout. Some good drops there. So we're progressing towards the boss, about a third of the way there. These guys with a little green over them, they give you that progression you need to collect the keys that you need to then open those candelabras. So there's the boss. We can't get to him yet because we haven't unlocked his progress bar. You unlock the boss progress bar by opening up... Ooh! Interesting. Aeterna chests. Let's grab it. And grab it. Okay, flame dust. And the knitting... Oh, there's another one, isn't there? Oh, there's a bunch more. Cool. So that's what that particular candelabra unlocked as a reward, those extra chests. So I think we got one more before we unlock the boss. Gonna go for those green guys to get the keys. Actually, probably have two more. Boom. What do we got? Flame dust. Flame dust, crafting material. The game has a robust crafting system, which isn't overly complex. You generally want to find a base, and then you can like re-roll. You can deterministically craft on affixes. Alright, our last one. And oh, the candle's up there, I see it. Okay. So that last candle over there, candelabra, and then we do the boss. And then we'll show you the big passive tree and how you can unlock and upgrade your City of Aeterna. And what do we get as a reward? Alright, some nice purples. Alright, now we go to the boss. Activate, and we just obliterate. Alright, and again, some great drops here. We're getting those Pages of Aeterna. So, Pages of Aeterna. Man, every drop here was good. In fact, inventory full. I'm gonna quickly just salvage something to make room. Also, you can just salvage items on the spot. You don't have to go back to town, right? So, items, you identify all real easy, and then you can also salvage everything really easily as well. Now, once we leave our City of Aeterna, we can interact again, but we have no reason to go back in here again. So if the next time we find a monument, we're gonna get this same layout. Because we beat the boss, you know, we have 5 remaining attempts. If you had failed, right, you can keep trying to go in, you have a certain number of attempts. We're good, we finished, so we're gonna wanna reset the City of Aeterna, and that's gonna start this whole process over again at the next monument. Before that though, here is our passive tree. So we're collecting these pages, and in order to unlock different upgrades, you have to consume pages. So this here, for instance, unlock the option when selecting Ruins of Aeterna, random 4. So we were saying how we had that option locked. Well, we're going to unlock it here. Before we do that though, we're just gonna take a look at the other options. So here we unlocked the ability for bosses to drop 1 additional soul candle. You might have seen that amongst the drops at the end there. The first thing I got was getting an additional area on the map. So I think this is the best first upgrade to go with. So again, you start with 4 potential puzzle pieces that you can put, but you noticed I was putting 5. Why? Because I got this upgrade. And then you can see other upgrades will increase the number of pages drops you can get, potential more reward rooms. So it's buffing this whole City of Aeterna mechanic here. This would unlock the second soul candle slot. I might actually want to go for that right now, so I can have 2 soul candles equipped. Soul candles are additional itemization slots. Again, just because it's a little bit hard, I feel, with the 4. I think this is kind of a gamble, and I'm not a gambling man, so we're gonna go with this. And now the next path is Candelabra of Sacrifice may drop soul candles in the City of Aeterna. Nice, alright. But there's this whole passive tree. This is just the season mechanic, right? This is the season mechanic. It mostly focuses on upgrading your City of Aeterna. And now we can go ahead and reset the City of Aeterna because there's nothing more to be done here. And we're going to now be rebuilding from scratch. And just to show you those soul candles, I think we find them in skills. Yeah, it's on the right over here. So now we can equip a second soul candle. So let's go ahead and do that. These have new and different itemization effects. So those are not helpful for me. Neither is that in this case. The first one I found was a little helpful, but hopefully we're going to find some better soul candles. I think you have the ability to even craft soul candles, so extra ways to build and empower your characters. So that's an overview of Torchlight Infinite, an overview of the new seasonal mechanic. Seriously, the game is a lot of fun. Do give it a try. You can pick it up on Steam. Just click my link in the description below. You can also use my code TorchlightSS2 to get some extra in-game goodies. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please share it, check out these other videos, and subscribe to join Riker's Raiders for more ARPG content.